Hashtag YouTube intro. Police car light AI just got weird. Nadella's betting everything on one model, Google's search is transforming overnight, Ilya's building the future in secret, China's flooding the market, manufacturing jobs vanished, Microsoft's security just leveled up, and Claude's private chats are exposed. 7 stories that'll reshape your entire tech stack. Stick around because the last one will shock you. Satya Nadella says companies that trust one AI for everything may not survive. Hashtag AI dependency could be a business death sentence. Satya Nadella just dropped a warning that should make every CEO sit up and pay attention. Betting everything on a single AI model might be the fastest way to irrelevance. Microsoft's leader is essentially saying that companies need to build their own AI infrastructure or risk becoming completely dependent on whoever controls the model they're using. This isn't just corporate posturing, it's a fundamental shift in how we need to think about artificial intelligence in business. Here's the technical reality underneath this warning. An AI gateway acts like a security buffer between your company's sensitive data and the underlying AI model. Think of it as a translator that sits between your internal systems and the AI engine, protecting your proprietary information while still letting you use powerful AI capabilities. Without this layer, every prompt you send, containing your trade secrets, customer data, and strategic information, flows directly into someone else's black box. Companies that skip building this infrastructure are essentially handing their competitive advantages to whoever controls the model they're using. The broader implication is that we're entering a new era of AI stratification. Organizations with resources to develop their own models or at least implement proper AI governance will maintain control over their destiny. Everyone else becomes a passenger in someone else's vehicle. This mirrors what happened with cloud computing. Early adopters who understood the infrastructure won big, while those who waited too long found themselves locked into disadvantageous positions. The window to act is closing, and Nadella's warning suggests that by the time companies realize they need this independence, it might already be too late. Google's AI search is rapidly becoming the default, new data shows. Google just crossed a critical threshold that's reshaping how billions of people access information online. Their AI overviews now appear in nearly half of all searches, 43% to be exact, and this isn't just another incremental product update. This is a fundamental shift in how search itself works, and it's happening faster than almost anyone predicted. Instead of clicking through to websites, users are increasingly getting AI-generated summaries served directly in their search results, which means the entire internet's information economy is being disrupted in real time. What makes this moment particularly significant is the speed of adoption. Google didn't need years to convince people that AI answers were better than traditional links. They just needed to make it the default experience, and users accepted it almost immediately. From a business perspective, this is brilliant for Google because it keeps people on their platform longer while reducing traffic to publishers and websites that built their entire business model around search referrals. But here's the tension: those websites are also the sources of information that train these AI systems. Google is essentially monetizing content it doesn't own while simultaneously making the original creators less relevant. The broader implications are staggering. We're watching the internet transform from a network of interconnected documents into a curated information layer controlled by a handful of AI companies. This raises serious questions about accuracy, bias, and who gets to decide what information matters. When an AI overview becomes the default answer, smaller publishers and alternative viewpoints get buried. We're also seeing the early stages of what happens when AI systems start replacing human judgment at scale. The question isn't whether AI search is here, it clearly is. The question is whether we're comfortable with this much power concentrated in one company's algorithm. Ilya Sutskever's safe superintelligence partners with Nvidia to scale its AI research. The race to build safe superintelligence just got a massive financial and technical boost. Ilya Sutskever, the former chief scientist at OpenAI, has emerged from 2 years of stealth mode with safe superintelligence and announced a landmark partnership with Nvidia. This isn't just another AI startup getting GPU access, this is one of the most respected voices in AI safety teaming up with the company that literally controls the hardware powering the entire AI revolution. For those unfamiliar, Sutskever spent years at the forefront of deep learning research and was instrumental in shaping how we think about AI safety at scale. His decision to leave and start his own company signaled that he believed existing approaches weren't moving fast enough on the safety front. What makes this partnership significant is the timing and the stakes involved. Nvidia doesn't just hand out preferential access to their cutting-edge chips, they're essentially betting that Sutskever's vision for safe superintelligence is worth their strategic support. This suggests that even the hardware giants recognize that the next phase of AI development needs to be paired with serious safety research. The partnership gives safe superintelligence the computational resources to actually test and validate their safety approaches at scale, rather than just theorizing about them in papers. That's the difference between research and real-world impact. The broader implications here are fascinating because this represents a potential shift in how the AI industry thinks about safety. For years, safety research has been somewhat sidelined as a nice-to-have while companies race to build bigger and faster models. But now you have a respected researcher with genuine credibility in the field getting institutional backing to pursue safety as the primary mission, not an afterthought. Whether this partnership succeeds or fails, it signals that the conversation around AI development is evolving. The question is no longer just can we build it, but increasingly should we, and how do we do it responsibly? Why China is giving away its best AI models. Silicon Valley just got a reality check, and it came from an unexpected direction. China's moonshot AI just released Kimi K3, and it's not just competitive, it's allegedly outperforming some of America's most expensive AI systems while costing a fraction of the price. This isn't hype or speculation, we're talking about a model that's raising serious questions about who actually leads the AI race right now, and whether the conventional wisdom about American dominance still holds up. Here's what makes this particularly significant: the AI industry has operated under the assumption that you need massive resources, massive data centers, and massive budgets to build world-class models. Companies like OpenAI and Anthropic have spent billions chasing that formula. But Moonshot is doing something different. They're achieving comparable or better results with a leaner approach, and they're making it freely available. That's a deliberate strategy. By giving away their best models, they're not just competing on performance, they're competing on accessibility and adoption. It's a playbook we've seen before in software, but in AI, it's a game changer because it accelerates the global development cycle and makes it harder for any single company or country to maintain a technological moat. The broader implication here is that the AI arms race is shifting. It's no longer just about who builds the biggest model in the most expensive lab. It's about efficiency, iteration speed, and ecosystem strategy. If Chinese companies can match American capabilities at lower cost and with more open distribution, that fundamentally changes the competitive landscape. We're looking at a future where AI leadership isn't determined by who spends the most money, but by who builds smarter, faster, and more strategically. That's a much more unpredictable game, and frankly, it's a wake-up call for everyone betting on brute force as a strategy. Tariffs didn't bring manufacturing jobs back to the US. #Tariffs failed to bring manufacturing back, and here's why that matters for tech. Remember when tariffs were supposed to be the magic bullet that would bring manufacturing jobs flooding back to America? Yeah, that didn't happen. 18 months into aggressive trade policy, the data is telling a very different story, and it reveals something crucial about how modern supply chains actually work in the age of AI and automation. The companies that were supposed to reshoring production are instead doubling down on global networks, using smarter software and AI tools to navigate tariffs rather than abandon their international operations entirely. Here's the thing: manufacturing in 2026 isn't like it was in the 1980s. When you're running a complex global supply chain with thousands of moving parts, tariffs create friction, sure, but they don't necessarily make reshoring economically rational. Instead, companies are investing heavily in supply chain visibility software, AI-powered tools that help them optimize routes, predict tariff impacts, and find workarounds faster than policy can change. The real winners aren't American factories, they're the tech companies building the intelligence layer that lets multinational corporations stay flexible. Tariffs became just another variable to optimize around, not a fundamental restructuring force. The broader implication here is that policymakers fundamentally underestimated how technology enables global integration. You can't tariff your way past software that's designed to route around friction. Meanwhile, the jobs conversation has shifted entirely. We're not talking about manufacturing workers anymore, we're talking about AI engineers, data scientists, and supply chain analysts. The tech industry has essentially absorbed the economic logic that tariffs were supposed to disrupt, turning trade policy into a technical problem rather than a structural one. That's the real story nobody's talking about. Microsoft unveils AI security tools it says outperform competing platforms. Microsoft just dropped a bombshell that could reshape the entire AI security landscape, and honestly, this move is exactly what we needed to see in a market that's been getting way too expensive. The company announced a suite of new AI security tools that they're claiming outperform everything else on the market while costing significantly less. If these claims hold up under real-world scrutiny, we're looking at a potential game changer that could force the entire industry to rethink their pricing strategies and feature sets. Here's why this matters so much right now. The AI security space has become increasingly fragmented, with dozens of startups and established players all charging premium prices for tools that often overlap in functionality. Organizations have been forced to cobble together multiple solutions just to get comprehensive coverage, which drives up costs and creates integration nightmares. Microsoft's move to undercut competitors on both price and performance is a direct challenge to that status quo. They're leveraging their massive infrastructure and existing enterprise relationships to deliver something that smaller competitors simply can't match at scale. The broader implications here are fascinating because this represents Microsoft doubling down on their strategy of bundling AI capabilities across their entire ecosystem. By making security tools more affordable and accessible, they're essentially lowering the barrier to entry for organizations that want to adopt AI safely. This could accelerate AI adoption across industries that have been hesitant due to security concerns. However, it also raises questions about whether other companies can compete on these terms, and whether we'll see consolidation in the AI security space as smaller players struggle to match Microsoft's pricing power. What's really interesting is how this fits into the bigger picture of AI commoditization. We're watching the market transition from AI is expensive and exclusive to AI is becoming a utility. If Microsoft succeeds here, we might be looking at a future where robust AI security isn't a luxury add-on but a standard feature that comes with your enterprise platform. That's a significant shift that could reshape how companies approach digital transformation over the next few years. Private Claude chats exposed in Google and Bing search results. Your private conversations with Claude just showed up in Google search results, and that's a massive problem nobody saw coming. A significant security oversight has exposed what should have been confidential AI chats to public search engines, raising serious questions about how companies are protecting user data in the age of AI. This isn't some theoretical vulnerability. Real people's conversations, potentially containing sensitive information, became searchable on the open web. Here's what happened technically. Web crawlers from Google and Bing automatically index publicly accessible content to power search results. The issue is that certain Claude chat links were inadvertently left unprotected or improperly configured, allowing these crawlers to treat private conversations as public content. It's a classic case of security theater meeting real-world complexity. Companies building AI services have to balance accessibility with privacy, and somewhere in that equation, the ball got dropped. The conversations weren't hacked in the traditional sense, they were just indexed like any other web page because the technical barriers preventing that indexing failed. This exposes a fundamental tension in how we've built the modern internet. We've created these incredibly powerful AI assistants that people trust with personal questions, creative work, and sensitive information, yet the infrastructure protecting that data relies on configurations that can be misconfigured or overlooked. It's not unique to Claude, this could happen to any AI service. The broader implication is that we need stronger defaults, not just better warnings. Users shouldn't have to understand robots.txt files or crawler permissions to keep their conversations private. As AI becomes more integrated into daily life, the stakes of these technical oversights only get higher. Thanks for staying updated with Neural Brief. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss tomorrow's biggest AI breakthroughs. See you next time.